Hello guys, my name is Amy and welcome to Mexico. So this is the second to last race, and to say I've not practiced has been an understatement. I kid you not, all the practice I did was watching a YouTube video. And all that consisted of was a hot lap in time trial, and it was just the one lap as well. So yeah, so as per usual, quali will also be practice. It's also going to be an interesting race. There's only 9 of us in, because for some reason not many people wanted to race this one. Personally, I can see why. But it's a thing of, as of last race, basically we've come to the conclusion that people are exploiting regular corner cutting. So by default, we will now be running strict. And if you've not already gathered by the thumbnail, battle of the penalties, basically. Because even I get caught out on track limits, and I'm one of the most careful. I'd say I actually try and stick to the line, yet others will quite happily carry on. So yes, as you can probably tell by the thumbnail, literally could be anybody's race, purely because you don't know where you're going to finish until you've crossed the line and all them penalties are added. So, without further ado, we'll get into qualifying. On to my first flying lap on Mexico. So, obviously, straight out, interesting out lap. I did take it kind of slow just so that I can get a bit of a feel for it. So like I said, my practice literally consists of watching a video. So I know the rough layout, but I don't know basically how it handles. Obviously we've got strict corners as well, so don't want to run wide. Interesting kind of little mini hairpin there. You have to do sort of 2 stabs at it. And then unfortunately you get into a bit of a windy little area, that then starts getting a little worse, and that, not gonna lie, is about the best lap through that little bit out of the entire race. I don't actually think I manage all of that well. I may not have been on the racing line for half of it, but it was more than quite a lot of the laps during the actual race. But we're not too bad at the moment. Not a bad time, I guess, but I've not really got much to compare it to. But like I say, it's just a first lap. So yeah, we are currently P4. Don't get too ahead of yourself yet. We'll see where we are at the end. On to my second flying lap then, and yeah, I know got about 8 minutes left, but I was hoping basically that not many people would go out during the middle, because it's a case of track evolution. You really want to leave it sort of till the last second, but it's the thing, I come in after my first run, change tyres and straight back out. If anything, purely for basically sightseeing laps, I believe is the words I used in stream. Green sector 1, so clearly getting better. Like I said, I don't actually know what my normal time would be around Mexico. I have never done this track horrendously wide. I did say that particular S section doesn't get any better. Clearly it does. Green sector 2, so I'm improving somewhere. But yeah, it's a case of I've never done time trial. I couldn't tell you what my best lap is, but green sector 3 as well, I leapfrog Liam. I can't see me getting any better than that, personally, unless I had a good hour of just practice going round in circles. Like when I do time trial laps, I'm on one track for a good half an hour, 3/4 of an hour. So yeah, it's a case of if I had more than 18 minutes, I'd stay out. But I mainly use this lap again as a sightseeing lap, and obviously to practice my pit stops. Now, never come into the pits, obviously, before. So it's a case of, obviously I came in at the end of my first lap. So it's just a thing of practice. So Toppy gets pole, and unfortunately we slip down to 8th. Liam does end up getting faster. Technically I'm last. Technically I'm not, because Hugo didn't post a time. But out of the ones that did run, we're P8. On to strategy then, and an interesting 2-stop. Clearly want to be on the faster tyre, so I do stick with the soft medium. Not sure if anybody would want to do the softs to hard. Big jump there, for the sake of a few seconds. But yeah, 2-stop. Twice as likely to get a speeding penalty. Don't like the look of that. But anyway, we're going to stick with it and hopefully come out of the other end. Because with only 9 of us, the least points we're going to get are 2. So, here we go then. Mexico. 5 lights are out. I think that must have been the longest hold. I do purposely hold back. Turn 1 shenanigans as per usual. Seems as though Dioptric also has that same idea, which, being a bit of a slalomy little bit of the first sector 1, seemed to be okay. No big dramas. Dioptric dived down the inside, gave him plenty of room. I'm on the inside for the next one. Still no problems there. Bit of a hairpin. Still nobody out yet. This can't be a normal league race, surely. Halfway through lap 1 and not a single person is out. There may be damage. But Dioptric does go past me because obviously I run wide. I don't want to thing basically to say that I've cut the corner or track limits. So I do let him through because I hang back a little bit. As a reminder, we are on strict corners, so will be interesting to see how that gets accumulated. I can't see many penalties, but I can't see everyone being scot-free. There's going to be surely some, everyone's going to get at least one penalty. But yes, end of lap 1 and still P9 out of 9. So still got 2 points at the moment. Very early days, so I guess we'll just see. For some reason, I'm guessing it's because we're on strict. It's just nothing's happened. Nobody's gone wide. And not much damage, I don't think, because I don't think anyone's even been in the pits. Lap 3 then, and people are starting to get a few penalties, Liam included, and then Yav tops it off as well. Yellow flags out for Liam, as you can see, facing the wrong way. Now I don't think he touched anybody. He had a bit of a gap to the next dot in front of him, which I don't know if anything did happen. But he seemed to have a little gap on his mini-map, so maybe not. Here is the telltale sign. Does he come into the pits? No. So clearly didn't have damage, must not have been any contact. But yeah, P8 because Liam dropped it. Could even be a few more because people are starting to get a few penalties. Now this is ridiculous. Dioptric has got 6-second penalty already and is only on lap 4. Mate, you do realise you get disqualified, don't you? If you get too many. Because going at that rate, clearly something's going to happen. If all else fails, he just gets put down to the bottom, providing I don't get as many as him. So, we'll see how things go. On to lap 5 then, and there seems to have been a little bit of an incident. Jeff turns up and says there may have been a crash, but nothing big for a safety car yet. So, as you can see, Yav comes into the pits and DNFs. Unfortunately, he gets a horrible glitch that when you come into the pit lane, as soon as you hit basically the pit limiter line, so when the AI take over, you're supposed to go in a straight line. And unfortunately, Yav got the horrible glitch where it turns you literally full lock till you hit a wall and then you reset. Turn, full lock, and you reset. Now the problem is we have damage on. So unfortunately, that glitch only happens, I think, twice, maybe even 3 times. And then it's that much damage, it becomes terminal. So unfortunately, we also get track limits. Unfortunately, and again, I break that time just to make sure. Anyway, back to Yav. He did come into contact with someone in front, and obviously gave him a little bit of front wing damage, hence why he needed to come into the pits. Whether it would have done that glitch if he came in for his normal pits, I don't know. Hugo comes into the pits. He's up to 6 seconds in time penalties, unlike Dioptric, that's now up to 9. Me, still scot-free at the moment. Only 1 warning left, so we'll see where that comes in. But yeah, unfortunately, bit of a pit lane glitch. Whether or not it would have happened further on if he pitted at his normal stop, I don't know what his strategy would have been, so I don't know what lap he would have come in, whether he would have got that glitch when he would have normally have come in, I don't know. But yeah, it's very unfortunate that he did get one of these glitches. Now I have seen a few people get this glitch. There's also... Oh, Liam's spun it behind me again. I didn't touch him, I swear. And then Hugo spins it in exactly the same place. Well, that's quite funny. And now we've got a virtual safety car. Hugo seems to have stopped on track. I'm not quite sure what happened there. Clearly something, because obviously Liam spun it on his own accord, and then Hugo's spun it on his own accord. So he gets going again. So nonetheless, you know, we're still going. But yeah, unfortunately, as we go on to lap 8, having to literally stop because of Delta. Only 8 of us left. Bit unfortunate, but I want to say it can't be helped. Unfortunately, he didn't need to get the damage for Yav. It's a tough one, because if he didn't get that damage, he wouldn't have needed to have pitted. So, anyway, virtual safety car ending, and we're back to how we were, with both Dioptric and Storm in the pits, with Dioptric up to 12 seconds. If he makes it past half of this race, because of how many penalties he's got, it'll be interesting. But anyway, Liam comes into the pits. Not quite sure why. I'm guessing, I think this is just his normal pit stop. I'm not 100% sure. Can't really remember. But anyway, Liam comes into the pits. I believe I come in the lap after, so I'm guessing that is his normal stop. Obviously, going back to the strategy menu at the beginning, more than likely most of us are on a 2-stopper. So I'm guessing Liam's going on to his second set of softs, and that will be my plan once it's our pit stop. Also, if you notice, just before that safety car ended, Hugo did retire. I believe that was in the pit lane, because his little dot came to a stop on the pit straight, so I can only assume he came into the pits to retire. But there we go then, our pit window is open, so on to another set of softs and keep it going. So lap 10 then, and we P5. Lap 11, we've got a virtual safety car. Cannot for the life of me remember what for. And Liam has retired. Yeah, bit of a slide, I believe. How you can retire under a virtual safety car, I don't know. Ask Liam. Clearly, you can. That turns into a full safety car. I'm guessing he's in the middle of the road. So yeah. Obviously, only 7 people left at that point, and we were literally on about faster. Well, I had to really stop. I went into neutral. Anyway, we were on about like the faster car, and obviously if Liam caught up to me, because obviously at that point Liam was behind me, then it would be a case I would let him through. More than likely I would have let him through anyway, because obviously if you've been watching latest races, he needs to get P6 or above in the last 2 races to beat Keelan in the championship. And he literally screamed when he DNF'd. It's a point of probably a good thing he wasn't streaming. He would have deafened his own fans. Apologies if you were watching my stream live. RIP headphone users. So yeah. Unfortunately, not the finish Liam would have wanted. Clearly, because no one wants to DNF. But yes, we managed to leapfrog a few people in the pits. Oscar, for some reason, going on the hards. May have been an option, I don't know. There's still quite a lot of this race to go, so he still may end up needing to pit again. Dioptric still racking up the tally, although a lot of people are pretty, they're all sort of the same on time penalties, and somehow I don't want to jinx it too soon, but we don't have one yet. I don't know how, because obviously I had 2 warnings literally corner after corner on a particular lap, and yeah, so lap 14, P4 out of 6. Safety car coming in this lap, and yeah, Toppy is at the front. Now last time Toppy was at the front, this happened where we all bunched up literally right close to basically the safety car line. I'm not sure where it is. I just try and keep up with everybody. Left Oscar for dust, can hardly see him in the mirror. I missed my braking point as per usual, does not surprise me. I'm really surprised that sausage curb hasn't spun me out yet. I seem to go literally over it way too many times. But yeah, it's a case of having, been in the thick of a few of these restarts. I'm surprised I'm doing this well. Managing to squeeze Oscar a little bit wide there. That's one of them I'm trying to increase my defending without getting damage. So yeah, it's a case of I'm trying to learn on how others drive. Obviously I know he's coming down my inside at that point. He does back off, but I do give him room just in case he did decide to try. I know a lot of people do tend to appeal and complain about various incidents, and you potentially get a penalty. Not gonna lie, only just realised Dioptric has 21 seconds of penalties. But anyway, Oscar trying up the inside. I brake, obviously didn't want to go into the rear end and lose my front wing. I believe I don't get damage. I don't think at this point it comes up when you get damage. I know that was a problem before in earlier models of this game. Seems it says change of strategy then. Completely forgot I did. It doesn't say anything, I don't think. I can't quite tell. But there is my 3-second penalty for corner cutting. Dioptric getting really close to me there. Interesting on his line. Unfortunately, because of my MFD in the middle, it does kind of put me at a disadvantage seeing my proximity hours. That will be changed for next race. It's one of them I kept forgetting to change. But yeah, at this point, I don't know why it came up change of strategy, because it doesn't really look like I have that much damage. Handling on the other hand, has changed a little bit. I'm a little bit understeery still. So half the time I can never tell if that's actually how I drive or not. As you know, Dioptric getting even more penalties. I try and go for a switchback and definitely lose my wing this time. So yes, it's a case of unfortunate. I have to come in a little bit earlier. Really bad on the handling. Obviously previous races, some I can drive it out, others, Baku for instance, can't. So I do change strategy. I pit a little bit earlier and go on to the hards, so it's a case of making it last basically. So it's a case of coming in earlier so then I don't need to pit again because the mediums would have gone off, because lap 18 of 36 might have been pushing it to keep on the mediums. But anyway, it's a case of change of front wing onto the hards, and that should be me done for pit stops. So as we come out of the pits, lap 18, we are P6 of 6, but I'm not going to worry too much, because at this rate Dioptric is going to disqualify himself because of corner cutting, and all these penalties are purely why I suggested about putting it strict by default, because of how much people would run wide and exploit track limits. This purely goes to show that is what was happening. People would run wide on purpose to gain an advantage, and clearly no one's practiced with strict limits because they don't know where the track limit is, hence the amount of penalties. So yeah, halfway through the race, and still quite a bit to go, so a lot more penalty points still to be had, I'm guessing. Lap 22, and turns out you're only allowed to get 33 seconds of time penalties before you're disqualified. I know it said 30 before he's basically jumped off the leaderboard, but he was on 30 for pretty much the majority of that lap. So I'm guessing it's like you're up to 30, and then your next either warning or penalty. That's it. So it's a case of, by my reckoning, right, 33 seconds, well, up to 30 seconds, he would have run wide, I believe, by my reckoning, right, you have to have 3 warnings, right, 2 warnings and then a time penalty. He did that 10 times, so he's ran wide 30 times. And then to get disqualified, if that has to be effectively another time penalty, so run wide another 3 times, 33 times he ran wide, and we're only on lap 23. It's like, I really didn't think he'd make it to the end. I really didn't. As we get another warning. But yeah, it's honestly baffling. Yeah, okay, some of us have got 3s, 6s, occasional 9. But 30? He deserves everything he gets for that, really. Not gonna lie, George, but you're a bit of an idiot. You knew it was on strict. Clearly it keeps telling you you're exceeding track limits, and you carry on doing it. So, bully for you, because now I'm P5 and you're out. On to my last lap of the race then, and yeah, obviously I've been lapped by pretty much everybody. Toppy did overtake me. He came into the pits, I'm guessing to try and grab fastest lap. So guess we'll see if he manages that. But yeah, unfortunately nothing's actually happened for the past 10 laps. It's been a pretty lonely second half of the race. On track anyway. Obviously I still have Liam in party chat, so he's effectively my eyes and ears regarding everybody else. How I've only managed one time penalty, I don't know. But yes, Iconic has won. So that really helps him for the Drivers' Championship, catching up to Oscar. Toppy goes and I'll say overtakes. He basically just goes through me. Now obviously we have ghosting on. So again, as we come around the last corner, I have been lapped again by everybody. But yes, over the line and P5. With Iconic as driver of the day. So Mercedes on top spot again. Being Iconic does not surprise me. Oscar does manage second, but he is still leading the championship at this point, so it will literally be down to the last race, which wasn't going ahead but now is. Official classification then, after all time penalties applied. Even all those that DNF'd still got a time penalty. How we only managed one, I do not know. But yeah, it's one of them. Mexico. God help us for next year is all I'm going to say. Well, I say next year. Next season, it'll still be this year. We're only going to do about 16 races again. So guys, that was Mexico. Safe to say, interesting to say the least. Clearly just based off of strict corner cutting, and as a result, literally everybody getting at least one penalty. Dioptric getting the maximum and getting disqualified. So all round mixed bag of a race, basically. Unfortunate for Liam, as he technically finished 6th, but because he DNF'd, he does not get the points. So it will literally, I was going to say literally be down to the last race, which is going to be Brazil. It was originally Abu Dhabi, but as it's a season finale, we kind of did a vote, and people had preferred to do Brazil. But yeah, I think Liam has worked it out that he needs to finish something like 4th or above. So it is still possible that he can beat Keelan in the drivers' standings, but it purely depends on if he can finish. Yeah, 2 DNFs in a row does not help. The good thing is he has a full screen TV now, and not a little 14-inch, because his TV broke a few weeks ago, so he's had to borrow the spare, which is literally the size of an A4 piece of paper. So yeah, hopefully he's back to his, I'll say, winning ways, his better ways. I don't think he's ever won a race yet. There's still time. Season 2, bro. All faith in you. But yes, like I said, next race is going to be Brazil. Like I also mentioned earlier, it was potentially not going ahead. You will see a lot of people that will not be in next week's race. I say next week, obviously you'll be seeing the highlight video next week. If you fancy watching me live, feel free. It will be tonight at about 8:20ish. But yeah, a lot of people started argument. I'm not naming names. A lot of people started argument, and a lot of people left / got kicked. So it'll be an interesting final race. I don't think people are taking it very serious. As basically a lot of people are calling this season null and void. I'm not. It's a case of I will be putting everything into it again, like I have done with all the other races. There's no sort of intention from me of backing down. I'm still gonna give it my all. So feel free to catch me at about 8:20 tonight if you're watching this as it's gone up on YouTube. So guys, if you like this video, please leave a like rating. If you're new around here, if you could subscribe as well, that would be even better. Next to the subscribe button is a little bell. If you click that, that'll turn your notifications on. Plan for next week. Now unfortunately there will not be Monday at all. Unfortunately I'm very busy on Monday regarding family, and it's also a thing of there will be no video, no stream or anything. Like I said last week, it's basically I'm trying to get the campaign done, but I'm also using it as a bit of a summer break sort of thing. So sort of come September I'll be back to my normal upload and streaming days. Obviously the highlight video to tonight's race will still go up next week as per usual. So I'll see you then guys. Bye.